Greetings, Earthlings! Welcome to another awesome episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. Today is Tuesday, June 11th, and it's episode 3 of season 3. Happy King Kamehameha Day, you guys! On today's Nerd News Update, DJ Khaled is seriously pissed at the Billboard charts. Bushwick Bill of the Geto Boys has sadly died. Xbox is about to end reverse compatibility and start Project Scarlet, and Black Lightning's Nafisa Williams wants to do a Supergirl crossover. Today's digital download is jam-packed as usual, so tune in, nerd out, to today's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly.
Hey, it's your boy Spaceship, man. I got a new podcast out I want y'all to subscribe to, bro. It's called Urban Nerd Weekly, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music. My
Spaceship back up in the shit. How you snacking cup of beats? I'm about to hit the stick, so go and follow me on Twitch. Now watch me. Now watch me. Watch me. Now watch me.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Space. Welcome to yet another episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. I am so psyched right now. I've had a pretty awesome weekend. I don't know about you guys. If you know what I'm saying, if you want to let me know how your weekend go, please feel free to hit up the show. But I've had a pretty good weekend. I won't say a pretty good weekend. I've had an eventful weekend. I definitely just watched the movie How They See Us on Netflix. Yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about it, so I decided to give that a look, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that later. But that was crazy. Anyway, I'm stoked. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like I said, welcome to the show, guys. I'm happy to see you. Trying to relax a little bit and calm down. I get really excited when it's time for me to record the show sometimes, so I gotta relax a little bit. All right. On to business. First things first, gotta let y'all give y'all a little reminder about where we at. Urban Nerd Weekly has an Instagram and Facebook page, so please like us on Facebook and feel free to join a community of listeners on there that is bustling and growing every day, as well as follow us on Instagram. Both are at Urban Nerd Weekly or / Urban Nerd Weekly, however you like to type in stuff. But yeah, man, make sure you guys follow, and like. And as well as myself personally, my big three, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are all Space Was Here, SPAYCEWUZHERE. And if you add a .com to that is my website, spacewashere.com. So feel free to hit that up and join the mailing list. And there are all the ways you can get updates on the parody videos, my skits, my vlogs coming out. You know what I mean? All the things I got going on the web, you can pretty much find them all on those main sources right there. Excuse me. Huge. Anybody ever had like an abnormal amount of like, okay, so you swallow your spit like all the time, right? But you were just in the middle of talking and just a fucking tsunami wave of sudden saliva comes out of nowhere. It's like, body, I didn't fucking tell you to produce these fluids. What is this shit? Fucking up my recording. But anyway, like I said, that is the social media, and don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and my website. Don't forget to subscribe to the show if you already haven't. Spread the news about Urban Nerd Weekly to your friends. Tell them to subscribe on all the major platforms. That'll be Apple Podcasts, formerly known as iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Google Play Music. Actually, you can still do it on there, as well as Spreaker, Stitcher, and all the other major podcasting platforms. We're coming soon to Spotify and iHeartRadio. I'm working on it, guys. Got to work on the working man's budget. But just trust me, if you know what I'm saying, if you're more of a Spotify listener and an iHeartRadio listener, I got you coming soon. Just ride with me for right now, and then I will let y'all know as soon as we are on there. And also, a quick reminder to also follow the people that help out with the show. Big help to the show, Miss Nano Kitty. You guys saw her. You guys heard her on last season. She's having a very heavy role in the production of this season, as well as she's going to definitely be more episodes. So get excited about that, you guys. But please follow her on Instagram at nano_kitty, and I'm sure she'll be very appreciative. But be nice. On the business though. Today's Nerd News Update. First things first. Oh, wait. Before I even get into the Nerd News Update, I wanted to acknowledge, in the intro, y'all, pre-roll, y'all heard me say, Happy King Kamehameha Day. That is an actual holiday. And, you know, of course, me being a Dragon Ball Z fan, and I'm sure any Dragon Ball Z fan on listening to the show right now is as excited as I am to know that in Hawaii, if you didn't already know, there is a real King Kamehameha Day. Like, yeah. One of the most famous exclamations on the show, one of the biggest power moves ever on television that was repeated by probably the most kids in the history of the world. The Kamehameha wave, also learned in Hawaii by Goku, taught by Master Roshi. King Kamehameha Day is on June the 11th. It's a public holiday in the U.S. state of Hawaii. In honors of Kamehameha the Great, the monarch who first established the unified kingdom of Hawaii, comprising the Hawaiian islands of Niihau, Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, Hana, Kahauli. I butchered that one. Maui and Hawaii. In 1883, a statue of King Kamehameha was dedicated in Honolulu Day. King David. This was the duplicate because the original statue was temporarily lost at sea, but was recovered and is now located in North Koala Island of Hawaii. There are duplicates of the statue in Emancipation Hall at the Capitol Visitor Center in Washington, D.C., and in Hilo Island of Hawaii. So, that is why they celebrate King Kamehameha Day. There was actually a king named Kamehameha. That was pretty fucking awesome. And now every time I watch Dragon Ball Z, I'm gonna think about that shit. Cause, you know, the producers of the show had to fucking know about that shit though. Like to come up with the Kamehameha wave. That's a awesome fucking tribute to the island paradise known as Hawaii. But now, on to today's nerd news update. Like I said, DJ Khaled. Okay, so DJ Khaled's been feeling real salty the last couple days. Let me just preface you with this shit because, you know, he just dropped the album. You know what I'm saying? Was it Assad or whatever? I don't even remember the name of DJ Khaled's albums. Mostly because I don't think that it's not him we're listening to. Anyway, he does create good, you know, albums. He curates good music for us to listen to on his albums. You know, they're never duds. They're pretty much hits all the way through. A lot of people do criticize him for pretty much remaking the same songs because he puts together the same features and puts some more new songs together sometimes, which, I mean, it's DJ Khaled, you know. I'm not expecting him to come up with a fucking masterpiece. I'm just looking for some shit to, you know, listen to while I drink alcohol in dark rooms filled with whores. Like, isn't that what we go to DJ Khaled for, right? Okay. But DJ Khaled, however, is you know, day by day, the public, we are seeing him get a little bit more upset. And, you know, first off, the day that the Billboard charts, you know, came out, and cause he's mad because he came in number 2. Keep in mind, he's number 2, and he came in number 2 behind Tyler, the Creator. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tyler, the Creator dropped Igor, and, you know, the internet and he has this thumping fucking fan base. They went ape shit. They made his shit number 1, and it trounced, you know, DJ Khaled shit. Now, you know, not now, but a couple of days ago, you know, he's throwing extra sodium on Tyler, the Creator, straight subliminal style, though. And he's putting up a video talking about how he makes classic records, like he makes real music, not mysterious shit, which is clearly a shot at Tyler, the Creator, because he has his whole own lane. Like, I'm not even finna pretend like I'm a Tyler, the Creator fan, but I am definitely a fan of the fact that he does the kind of music he fucking wants to do. It cultivated a fan base, and it's resulting in shit like he can be number 1 without, he hasn't even dropped, I haven't heard a relevant Tyler, the Creator song in quite some time. So, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that he was able to do that just speaks volumes about what a real true blue hardcore fan base that is, you know, feeling your shit that hard really can do for you. Now, you know, he's feeling some type of way then, and now, you know, days by day, as days go by, he's just, you know, he's he's on social media saying things, this, that, and the third. You know, I didn't catch all the shit, but I know he's been building, like, all the last like however many years of positive vibes is like being just decimated right now with his like the way he is feeling right now. Like he's actually planning, according to page6.com, DJ Khaled is planning a monster lawsuit against the Billboard charts. Wow. DJ Khaled is poised to hit the Billboard chart with a monster lawsuit alleging that the organization unfairly disqualified more than 100,000 sales of Father of Asad. Oh, that's the name of it, Father of Asad. Robbing him of the number one spot. Khaled was furious when his album came in at number 2 to Tyler the Creator's Igor after Billboard allegedly discounted downloads sold by the DJ and producer as part of a bundle deal with an energy drink. Bundle deals, which offer album downloads alongside merchandise, are a standard but controversial industry practice to boost sales. We're told Billboard had agreed it would count downloads for Khaled's energy drink package, which sources in the artist's camp say amounted to more than 100,000 copies or streams or whatever. Billboard later backtracked, disqualifying Khaled's entire sales from the promotion, arguing that there were anomalies in his figures. Page 6 has exclusively learned that lawyers for Khaled have fired off a letter to Silvio Pietroluigo, SVP of Charts and Data Development at Billboard. A DJ Khaled source said when Khaled's team tried to appeal, Billboard refused to budge. The source said the situation was all more than unjust because Tyler the Creator's bundle deal figures were included in his total sales. On May 30th, Billboard announced Tyler debuted at number 1 with 165,000 albums sold, with Khaled at number 2 at 137. Not fair, argues Khaled's string. Page 6 exclusively reported a few days ago that Khaled had a tense meeting with Sylvia Rhone, chairman and CEO of his label Epic, over the matter. The source explained Khaled was frustrated his label didn't fight harder for his bundles sales to be included. A Billboard source disputed that the 100,000 that DJ Khaled sales were disqualified, but admitting an undisclosed number of his sales were ruled out because there were strange anomalies in the data. Adding that the decision was based on chart rules following talks with Khaled's management, Sony Records, and Nielsen. Billboard announced it was reviewing its rules, allowing artists to bundle albums with merch, and will outline a new policy for 2020. Reps for DJ Khaled did not comment, and Billboard also did not comment. Okay, so then, like I said, that was from page6.com. Okay, here's my thing on this. First off, I'm gonna start off by saying, these games are rigged, y'all. Like, let's be real. Niggas be buying, like J. Cole just told y'all, niggas is faking their streams. Niggas is buying this shit. Like, and it ain't new. Niggas been faking the numbers since the beginning. Like, out of the top 10 artists on any given day since, we've been charting this shit, about 5 of the people on the list usually paid their way in. They either buy their own records or they pay somebody that works somewhere in Nielsen to boost the numbers. And nowadays with the streaming, you know what I'm saying, they could just fake the streams and shit. Like, as a content creator since 2008, you know what I'm saying? Really before that, but I'm starting at 2008 because that's when I got my first laptop and I actually was into doing, really, really doing this shit every day. Like, I've been getting offers since then about how I could buy, Twitter followers, Instagram, Facebook, you know what I'm saying? Like, buy SoundCloud plays, get likes on all them shits, get fake comments on all them shits. Like, it's not that hard. You could, like, if I actually just wanted to seem like a bigger deal than I could totally just do that same shit right now. And to be honest with you, I'm bringing that up because I feel like DJ Khaled might have been trying to do that with his album, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not accusing him of it. I just wouldn't be surprised if, he's one of the guys that's willing to pay a little extra just to guarantee the number 1 spot. And I feel like this is one of those situations where he's pissed because he paid to make sure he would be number 1, and then he still ended up not being number 1, and now he's mad. That's really what it just seems like to me, because, you got to understand, in order for someone who hasn't had a hit record, like a commercial hit record, in at least, 5 years? To come out with an album that they didn't promote that heavy outside of their own fan base and come out number 1, they earned that shit. You know what I mean? And if Tyler Creator If he paid for his shit, then fuck it. He paid the right fucking people and DJ Khaled didn't. You know what I'm saying? He still won whatever the fuck game they're really trying to play here. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no point in getting on social media and dropping all that salt. You know, I know you want to be able to say we the best, and it's hard to say that when you're number 2. But also, in all fairness, you know, Tyler the Creator writes, raps, performs. You know, I think he produces a little bit. If not, it has heavy influence on the instrumentals he uses. You know, he's kind of a artist. And you're a DJ. So when we're talking about an album, shouldn't he like kind of fucking win that one? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? If you disagree, let me fucking know all over SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the fuck you want to hit me up at. If you don't see it that way, let me know if I'm the one motherfucking tripping. On to the next piece of nerd news. And it's a sad piece of nerd news. Bushwick Bill of the legendary rap group The Geto Boys has sadly passed away today. And well, not today, he actually passed away a few days ago, which is crazy because he was just like talking about how like the Geto Boys were supposed to be a part of this like little, you know how, you know, it's a lot of little tours going on with hip hop is getting to that point where rock and roll was, where all the old acts are able to like kind of tour and just play their old shit. So all the people that was like popping when I was in high school, i.e. between, you know, 2004 and like 2011 are kind of getting some, you know, revamping their careers because they're able to tour again. Well, that also has been going on with a lot of groups in the 90s, and, you know, the Geto Boys is one of those groups. And, you know, there was a tour about to pop off, and the Geto Boys were going to be a part of it, but the problem was he's been having, you know, some health problems, and he felt like it was about to be a goodbye tour, like a farewell show. And he didn't want to do it because he literally said, "'Cause I'm not dying." And a few days later, he passed away. According to Pitchfork.com, Geto Boys' Bushwick Bill confirmed dead at the age of 52. The iconic Houston rapper died Sunday following a cancer battle. Geto Boys' Bushwick Bill died Sunday evening. His publicist confirmed to Associated Press and on Instagram. Earlier this year, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He was 52. Earlier Sunday, false reports of Bushwick Bill's death spread after Geto Boys' Scarface shared the news of his death on Instagram. Several major names from the world of hip-hop spread the word on social media with tributes to the icon. Bushwick Bill's son released a statement refuting the reports. He's still alive and fighting for his life. Bushwick Bill was born Richard Stephen Shaw in Kingston, Jamaica. He was raised in Brooklyn, where he was a b-boy and graffiti artist. He made his name in Houston, joining the Geto Boys in the late 1980s as a dancer under the name Little Billy. A reference to his height, which is commonly listed as 3'9", he was encouraged to start rapping when his peers heard him performing his favorite Public Enemy songs. Geto Boys' debut album was 1988's Making Trouble. One of Bill's most iconic songs, Size Ain't Shit, appeared on 1989's Grip on It on that other level. The group gained notoriety with the 1991 album We Can't Be Stopped. The cover is a graphic photo of Bill in the hospital after losing an eye in a gunshot incident. In a 2014 interview on the Murder Master Music Show, Bill claimed he died and came back to life in the incident. "I died on June 19, 1991. Legal death was 45 minutes. I was in the morgue for 2 hours and 45 minutes before I came to. It was going on 3 hours down there. Yeah, legal death was 45 minutes. My toe was tagged and they were pushing me in the drawer, and I looked both ways and I saw frozen people to the left and frozen people to the right. I'm like, I must be dreaming. Then I looked in the front of me. I saw a doctor about to close and the people are still pushing me, and I was like, yo. And everybody stopped. I was like, hey, I have to pee." They pulled the drawer out. I sat up, pulled the catheter out, jumped down on the security for the morgue. The actual mortician ran out. Whoever the people are in the morgue part of the hospital, he ran out and dropped his glasses. The security dude stood there, and I jumped down and I was like, I have to pee. I peed and I ended up peeing on his leg. And he took off running. He's like, he's alive! Somebody come and help! That's an awesome fucking story, man. I mean, not the fact that you died, but the part after he woke up. That's some type of shit I feel like I would have did in the situation. Like, hey, I'm alive and I gotta fucking piss. Another one of Bushwick Bill's signature songs was the pioneering hardcore track Chucky, which appeared on We Can't Be Stopped. The song sampled dialogue from Child's Play, the movie. Geto Boys released 4 more albums, and starting with his 1992 debut, Little Big Man, Bushwick Bill released 6 solo albums. In 1999, Geto Boys' Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster was prominently featured in Mike Judge's film Office Space. Bill released the album influenced by his born-again Christianity in 2009 called My Testimony of Redemption. In 2010, Bill faced deportation due to a drug-related arrest. He was subsequently released from custody. Bill is the subject of a documentary called Bushwick Bill, Geto Boy. In later years, Bushwick Bill will often join bar bands for unannounced performances of Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster. Whew. See? Tsunami of saliva again. Alright, so rest in peace to Bushwick Bill. You know what I'm saying? I definitely used to listen to Little Geto Boys when I was a kid, man. I remember one of their biggest hit songs was Mind Playing Tricks on Me. And Bushwick Bill's verse was one of my favorite ones in there, man. It was awesome. And not to mention, they also had a song that I can't remember the name of. But I just remember one of the lines, like Scarface was like, I heard the Beatles was the shit. And then Bushwick Bill come in and was like, fuck Paul. I remember me and my little cousin laughed at that shit for like 20 minutes and we wasn't even smoking no weed back then. We just couldn't believe that nigga just came out of nowhere and said, fuck Paul. And then we knew who the Beatles were, so it made it even funnier because you actually understood the line and shit. Oh, man. But rest in peace to Bushwick Bill, man. We lost another legend. And so many condolences sent to his family. And, on to other nerd news. Xbox is soon ending backwards compatibility, which is, I feel some kind of way about that, but I'm also not an Xbox player, so I all the way don't give a shit. But, at the same time, they're ending reverse compatibility. Like this last little update, these last couple games, they are about to end reverse compatibility and start Project Scarlet. And so here's the thing. All right. I'm sorry. There's like I have these news updates and shit on my phone, and like sometimes like while I'm recording, like new news pops up, but it's like I can't fit all this shit in a one episode. But yeah, man, like Xbox is about to end reverse compatibility, and because they're about to start Project Scarlet, and it will run Xbox One games. However, Microsoft is winding down new additions to its Xbox backward compatibility catalog. After adding more than 600 Xbox and Xbox 360 games to the list, the team is now focusing on Microsoft's next generation Project Scarlet console. We have now shifted our focus to help make the games you love playing on Xbox One compatible with future Xbox hardware, says Jason Ronald, a partner director of the Xbox platform. After this week, we have no plans to add additional original Xbox or Xbox 360 titles to the catalog on Xbox One. Microsoft is now committed to getting every Xbox One game running on Scarlet alongside games for all 4 generations of Xbox. While the catalog of old games might be finishing, Microsoft is adding a lot of games as it looks to move towards Scarlet's compatibility. Old Xbox Classic coming to backward compatibility include Armed and Dangerous, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell and Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell Double Agent, and Unreal Championship 2, the Leandry Conflict. Xbox 360 editions include Asura's Wrath, Battlefield 2, Modern Combat, Enchanted Arms, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, Far Cry Classic, Far Cry Instincts Predator, Infinite Undiscovery, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie, Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands, Escape, Star Queen, The Last Hope, Super Size Fighter 2 Turbo, Syndicate, 2-man Unreal Tournament 3. There are even new Xbox One enhancement updates to Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Banjo-Tooie, Cameo Elements of Power, Perfect Dark Zero, Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. And there's, it's good. That's actually a nice little list here of other shit they got coming up. But yeah, so here's my thing. I don't really like it when, I feel like when games create new consoles, and I say this with a grain of salt just because, video game consoles aren't as bad as like cell phone companies in that, and mobile device companies in that they're constantly coming out with new shit. Like you just bought the new iPhone, and then right when you buy that shit, they drop another one that do some new shit, or it seems like it do some new shit, and your shit just old already. Like with video game consoles, they are a lot better about, spacing out when they come out with new consoles. However, I think video games should always, like every new console should always have reverse or backwards compatibility to play old games, because a lot of the times, especially if you're, like me and some other people where you kind of been dedicated to the same console for a long time and you get the new ones, you still want to be able to play your old games on there. Like you shouldn't have to, have 4 different, like if I get the new PlayStation, I still can play all the old PlayStation shit. Like when I first had experience playing PlayStation 3, I was bringing PlayStation 1 games from my house for my friends to play. We was playing like Tekken 4 and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or shit, it might be a Tekken 1. I don't even fucking remember. But I think video games should always have, the console should always have reverse compatibility, because, it's kind of a nod to those fans of the console who, have been supporting you guys all this time. And by the way, that story came to you via TheVerge.com, and this, this is a decision from Microsoft. I don't think it came from the Xbox department of Microsoft. This is all the reports say Microsoft ends Xbox One, backwards compatibility and shit. So, Project Scarlet is the future, and I guess we'll be definitely seeing whether or not the ability, like lacking the ability to play older games will be outweighed by how awesome the new games are. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that piece. And on to that's that piece. And I meant to tell you guys that was provided by TheVerge.com. I originally had got it from Polygon.com, but I couldn't refine that article fast enough. However, on to the next piece of nerd news. And today's final piece of nerd news today is Black Lightning's Nafisa Williams wants a crossover with Supergirl. I think that's interesting. I also didn't know that Black Lightning, the character that she plays is a lesbian superhero. I didn't know that. But anyway, Black Lightning may air on the CW, but much to the dismay of fans of the network's DC comic-related programming, the series is not part of the Arrowverse, meaning that the likelihood that freelance heroes will ever cross paths with the Green Arrow, the Flash, and the other is pretty slim. But just because the shows don't exist in the same universe doesn't mean fans can't dream, and that includes stars of Black Lightning as well. Nafisa Williams, who plays Anissa Pierce, aka Thunder, knows exactly what Arrowverse what Arrowverse crossover she'd like to see, and that is one with Supergirl. In a recent interview with The Advocate, Williams was asked what Arrowverse show she would like to cross over with, and Williams had an answer that many fans will probably agree with, declaring Supergirl to be her choice with a sweet female empowerment storyline to boot. I already fight with Black Lightning, so I already know what it's like to fight with a male superhero, Williams said. So I think it would be really great to have a crossover with Supergirl with the female empowerment storyline. I definitely want to team up with another female superhero for sure. Williams' point about already knowing what it's like to fight with a male superhero is an interesting one, as it does speak to a bit of the larger landscape of superheroes on the CW. When it comes to the heroic breakdown across the Arrowverse in particular, there aren't a lot of opportunities to see female superheroes team up. Sure, DC's Legends of Tomorrow has several female heroes, but that team often uses more novel means to accomplish their goals than outright kicking bad guy butt, which in and of itself is a joy to watch. more broadly, it's usually the male hero team-ups or male-female hero team-ups. Getting to see two female heroes come together for a fight sequence will make for a very cool crossover indeed. Especially with the Thunder's bulletproof and durability powers being similar enough to Supergirl's that the bad guys wouldn't know what they were up against. Interestingly, Williams isn't the only CW superhero actor who would like a crossover with Supergirl. Last year's Arrow's Emily Bett Richards told Build Series that all of the Arrowverse shows for Felicity to appear on Supergirl would be her pick. I think that it would definitely be a possibility. I don't see why it wouldn't be, Richards said. We've sort of broken all the rules that sort of make it not a possibility, so I feel like we should do that. And I think it would would be my preferred show to cross over in general because it's Supergirl. Like, would you guys like to see a Thunder Supergirl team up? Let us know about your... Oh, that's their shit. You can let me know in my motherfucking comments, on SoundCloud or, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you are. But yeah, that is today's nerd news update. Man, I'm getting tongue-tied today. On to today's digital download. Not much actually going on in today's digital download. We got like 2 things, and that's it. It's only me. It's a kind of slow day, I guess, for some shit to come out. Today's digital download does include a little music, and that is from Goldlink, and he has dropped an album. He's dropping the album Diaspora on tomorrow, June the 12th. Yeah. Comes out tomorrow, June the 12th. And, well, that is it for today's digital download. Damn, that was fucking fast. That's what she said. Nah, I'm just playing. But on to the next segment. We had a new segment we added to Urban Nerd Weekly. It's called the Did You Know? And we adding this because I think it's kind of cool if we just drop little tidbits of trivial knowledge on you guys and enhance your overall, intellectual quality. So on today's Did You Know, we're going to be talking about Brassica oleracea. I should have practiced pronouncing that before this episode, but fuck it, I'm here now. It's also known as wild cabbage, but I called it that because there are a surprising fucking number of different foods that come from that shit. It's a plant species that includes many common foods such as cultivars. Oh, damn, that's cultivars. Oh, that means that this plant cultivates these foods. But all these things come from that shit. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, savoy, kohlrabi, and gailan. Like, in its uncultivated form, it's just called wild cabbage. So when you see wild cabbage, all this shit grows on one fucking plant. Like, and that today's Did You Know was brought to you by Miss Nano Kitty. Shout out to Nano Kitty for holding it down on the digital scape when I can't be online with you guys. Make sure y'all hit her up, like I said earlier, and she is very active on the Urban Nerd Weekly Facebook page. But yeah, I didn't know that shit. And I work at this food place, and like most of the shit on this list, we have at my job. And it's crazy. I did not know that all of those things came from the same fucking plant. So on to today's topic. Okay, like I said earlier, I got a chance to watch the movie How They See Us on Netflix. Now, this has been a very controversial movie because it's shedding a lot of truth on, the black male experience. Some of the guys in this movie, like Yusef Salam, like these were urban nerds, man. These guys weren't gangsters. They weren't murderers. They weren't rapists. They weren't any of the shit they had to be accused of being for the majority of their fucking life. You know what I'm saying? There's still people who don't know, like, the truth has come out. But to give you a quick rundown, the movie is about 5 young black males in New York City. And they called them the Central Park 5 because on the night of a very, very brutal rape and attempted murder of a young 28-year-old Caucasian jogger, on the same night that it just so happened that a bunch of young black males were walking through Central Park. And yes, some of these guys, because there was a ton of kids in the park. There was, like, the beginning of the movie is just like a shit ton of dudes walking in one direction, and then you realize they're all just going to the park. Now, yes, some of the guys in this huge group of people were fucking with some folks. They was fucking with some bicyclists. I think one dude got his shit rocked by some teenager. But the 5 gentlemen in particular, these guys were all just innocent bystanders. They was just, hanging out, Yes, it was past their fucking bedtime. They shouldn't have been out, but I mean, it's New York City. It's the city that never sleeps. It's not that surprising that people are awake, past the time they fucking should be. And I will admit, if all the motherfuckers had just stayed at home like they should have at that point in time, being the age that they were, yeah, they probably wouldn't have fell into no bullshit. However, that mistake should not have led to all of these fucking consequences. It's totally unfair to say. So, they are known as the Central Park 5. There was one 14-year-old guy, one little 14-year-old. 3 of them were like 15, and the oldest, Corey Wise, was 16 years old at the time of the incident occurring. And the movie showed the different angles of where they were all at, like right before they all got to the park. Like, the youngest one, Kevin, he was 14. He just was seeing older kids, walking towards somewhere, and he just wanted to go see what the big deal was with the, you know how you are when you're 14, you're kind of impressionable. The shit that 16, 17-year-olds are doing is interesting as shit. Is shit you can't do yet, The other guys in the park, they were really just literally just walking around watching this shit happen. Yes, some of them did witness the assault where that dude got his shit peeled back. And it was just, like I said, he got knocked out. Like and they were fucking with some bicyclists and shit. And during the incident, doing all of this, a woman was getting beaten and raped and dragged into the woods. Well, she was beaten, dragged into the woods, then raped and assaulted more outside of the rape in that same spot. And the actual rapist, at the end of the movie, the guy, because at the end, the guy does confess to being the one. And the biggest shit kicker in the whole movie is the whole crux of the entire story is the point at which, first of all, the police put out an APB for a group of 5 or 6, or 4 or 5 black males. So they were literally just looking for a group of 4 or 5 black males, which on that fucking night in particular, it happened to be, dozens and dozens of black males literally just walking around and shit. So they were just literally scooping up niggas by the handful and throwing them in the back of cop cars and taking them to jail. And these weren't just some niggas, these were kids. These were minors. And they were held for a long ass fucking time. Like, some of them got let go, but for whatever reason, these 5 guys, not for whatever reason, if you watch the movie, you see the different reasons, but these 5 guys got singled out, and the police are the ones that fucking decided that these young men were guilty, to the point where they did whatever they could. They held them, didn't feed them, kept most of them disconnected from their parents for hours, interrogating them. At this point, and especially with the age they were, because I could see myself being that age, I would have signed and said whatever the fuck I had to say to go home. I'm sorry. I've been in the same fucking clothes since yesterday, my nigga. And one of the guys, Tron, he made it back home. He didn't get picked up, but because some guy said he was there with him, they came to his house and picked him up. Now, he was there with his parents, but the fucked up part about his situation was his dad had already been in jail, and his dad, they held him and just kept asking him all a bunch, like, it ain't not the dad, they kept still asking the kid questions, even with his dad there. And then it got to the point where they was telling the dad to just get the kid to say whatever the fuck he gotta say just to go home, because they found out the dad has been in jail before. So they already knew he was afraid of his son going back to jail. So that man went back in that room and he told his son to lie. It definitely affected their relationship, as time passed. But it was just insane. And then the oldest, Corey Wise, he wasn't even fucking there, man. His name wasn't even on the list of people that they decided to go and pick up. You know what I mean? Like, it was really fucked up because he only went there, to look out for his friend who was one of the other Central Park 5 members, which is Yusef Salam. He was only there to make sure his friend was good. And while they were talking to his friend, he was sitting there in the waiting room, and the man just fell asleep. Can you imagine just going to the police station with your friend to make sure he was straight? You fall asleep and you wake up like one of the primary suspects in this fucking fucked up thing that's going on. Like, and when you watch the movie about everything that unfolded during the court case and how there was no fucking evidence. I mean, they railroaded these kids, man. They railroaded them. They fucking, and as a black man, I've grown up hearing tons of stories about this, and this took place in 88. I was born in 1990, so by the time I was like 5 or 6 years old, this was a story that amongst us, as in the us and how they see us, this is a story that we've known for a long time was bullshit. And when the guy came out and confessed, and after the court hearing and the verdict that they all ended up going to jail, they all spent between 6 and 15 years in jail. Corey Wise actually ended up doing the most time, and he wasn't even supposed to be there, man. You know what I mean? That's just depressing, dog. Like, and this was not that long ago. This was literally 2 years before I was born. So this happened 30 years ago. Yep, 28, over 30 years ago now. And the amount of life that was stolen from these guys, man, it was infuriating. Like, I see why everybody's been pissed the fuck off on social media about this movie for so long. Now that I see it at 28 years old, watching this movie, I felt the same way that I did in the first grade, like when I watched Roots and shit. Like, damn. This really how the fuck they do us. This is really how the fuck they see us. Yeah, man. This shit's crazy. But, as we all see, in the case of these urban nerds, the truth did come out. And, they were awarded a $41 million, settlement or whatever because they were wrongfully convicted. They got their records, cleaned or whatever. It was all cleared away. But, the damage is done. At that point, first of all, it's 5 of them, so they got to split the $41 million. And yeah, it makes them all millionaires. But, look what the fuck, like, that's a drop in the bucket to the pain they've had to experience over all of this shit. You know what I mean? The just hindrance in life. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even finish high school because they were in jail and shit. You know what I mean? Like, imagine being a guy like, Corey Wise, and you got a girlfriend, and, just damn, my nigga. And this shit happens every day. It's still, stuff like that still does happen to this day. I don't even have to remind you about the injustices, with that's been going on with Sandy Bland, and, like how George Zimmerman, Anyway, I'm here. And as long as you guys, keep your heads up and watch out for that bullshit, man. Just try to dodge it, bruh. All my urban nerds, stand up, you know what I'm saying? Be glad that the truth came out in this case, but damn, that's some crazy shit, If any of the Central Park 5, I guess, ever hear this episode, I just want to let them know, man, hey, we can never understand fully what y'all went through, but the depiction of this movie gives us some insight into fuck, man. Fuck. But that is all for today's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. I thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining as usual. I love you, I love you, I love you. See you next episode. My name is Space. I was here, but now I'm